punishment if you try and skirt those rules. Now, of course, this is all going to come back to possibly a lawsuit and a judge making a decision. Take a listen to what Pete Thamel had to say on ESPN television earlier today about this situation.
Right now, LSU has 3 such players that were involved in a local state court ruling, which the lawyers will tell you should technically still make them eligible to play. State law obviously trumps conference law. That's Daquan Wright. You mentioned Xavier Harris, a very good defensive tackle. He had 10 tackles against Georgia last year in the college football player for Ole Miss. And then a Notre Dame edge rusher, junior Tuihale Maka. Who actually did not ever sign a pro contract, so his situation may be a little different. It's my understanding, Greeny, all 3 of these players are in Baton Rouge, and they are expected to push through the legal process to play.
So that's the latest from Pete Thamel on ESPN television. So it's obviously going to take place in the courts. You know, Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire also talked about this because on the Big Ten, the SEC banning players, you know, what's the next step? Take a listen to Joey McGuire.
You know what's coming next. Those players are going to sue the conference, you know, and so what do you do? And I know that, you know, I was checking with our guys today of like, what's the Big 12 going to do, you know, and so, again, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we're going to monitor. We've been monitoring the last week or so to how we can add, if possible, somebody to make this team better. I understand both sides. We are not looking at anybody that is in the NFL that possibly could be cut. We haven't called any NFL coaches. We haven't scouted any NFL players that I think some teams have done. But we're definitely going to look. I love my job. You know, and I hope y'all love me being here because I love West Texas. And so I know this, I get to keep my job if I win. And so I'm going to constantly look to how we can be better as a team and be better roster-wise. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But I do think it's going to be.
So that was Joey McGuire, Texas Tech head coach, you know, mentioning the situation with college athletes trying to go back to college to play. You know, Abdalla, you know, it does feel somewhat fitting that LSU is the team trying to get around the rules with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it's not surprising. And, you know, look, you also heard the Texas Tech head coach right there say the same thing. Like, if there's a way to get around this, like, the rule isn't in place yet for the Big 12. So, like, I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna look at every possible chance to make our roster, to improve our roster. I want to get better. I want to try to win a championship. You know, Texas Tech has a chance to win. They're probably going to make the playoff because they're the best team in their conference by default. And they've got a chance to make the playoff and win a national championship. So if they've got a chance because their conference hasn't made a statement on this or created a rule, why not go for it? I've always said that in the past, like this has been a thing that's been going on for the past 5 years. In the last 2 weeks that this has been an issue, Chris.
For as long as I could remember.
For as long as I can remember.
I've had this opinion on this topic.
The last 2 weeks. This is a loophole that has been around for 2 weeks now. And until that loophole is closed, take advantage of it. Don't hate the player, hate the game. This is the game right now, and improve your team. I don't understand, like, if you want to be like Dan Lanning and say, we're not going to do it, I'm going to take a stand, and I'm not going to do it. Okay, fine. That's you. But Lane Kiffin saw an opportunity, and he wants to improve his football team. He wants to win a national championship. Go do it. I don't see a problem with that. And to the players that want to come back, and because they're not going to make a roster, and they want to make some NIL money before, and they want to get their 5th year because college football allows them to have a 5th year, take advantage of it. I don't see a problem until someone says you can't. Take advantage of it. Now, if the conference says you can't come back, then don't do it. Once they say you can't do it, then all bets are off. You're done. I'm sorry. Now I say you're done, because going back and forth and trying to fight it with the courts, that's just too much for me. But before all of that, I had no problem with it. Now that you're going to involve lawyers and judges and all this crap, Now it's too much. Once the conference says we're done, the problem is allowing it from the first place. The problem was that there was no system of checks and balances. The problem was there was no universal rule for all of college football that said, hey, guess what? Once you're a professional and you step foot on a professional field, or you put pen to paper and you sign a contract, or you're in a professional locker room, or you put on a jersey, or whatever part of it you want to say, you go to the G League or you go to the NBA, your WNBA, you're done. That's it. You get drafted. Everybody knows that in Major League Baseball, there's like wiggle room because you get drafted by a team and then you're in the minor and you go back. Like there's differences in Major League Baseball because of where you can draft a high school kid in Major League Baseball. It's completely different. Yeah. But for the NFL, NBA, and WNBA, there should be rules. And the problem is there's no set rule for everybody. The SEC came out and set their penalties today. The Big Ten could set completely different penalties. They could say, hey, guess what? The coach is suspended for the entire year. They could make harsher penalties if they want to. They could align themselves with the SEC and say, guess what? We like what the SEC did. We're going to do 50% for the coaches, just like the SEC did, and just go with that. The Big 12 hasn't said anything right now. The Big 12 is just saying, everybody come on in. We want to win a national championship. We don't care. I'm surprised Notre Dame said, well, we don't like it. We're not going to do it.
No,
because
Notre Dame always is, they're trying to be like the leaders of what seems to be right in a lot of these situations in college football.
I get it.
So I'm not surprised that they immediately agreed with and to align with the Big Ten and the SEC in saying that, like, this is not how college football should be moving.
But we
should not be going down this path.
But there should have been a rule beforehand.
Well, yes, but isn't that the conversation with all of college football?
Yes.
That college football and the NCAA,
yes,
they don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
And it's just insane. The conferences are just doing their own stuff. They're each implementing their own rules.
Mm-hmm.
We have a college football playoff committee that's picking and choosing based on their own metrics.
They're independent of themselves too.
It is just why college football is in a spot that I don't think it's good for the sport. Now, obviously, I think the thing that is very obvious to me is that any logical person would see this on the horizon and suggest that you are right. It makes no sense if you are trying to become a professional football player and you are on a roster in the NFL and you get released, you're done. You're not going back to college. If you are someone that's trying to get into investment banking, right? And you take that job after your fourth year of college and you sign that deal and you start working and you work for 4 months, you don't get to go back to the curriculum that you were in college. If you don't like it or you fail, you can go get a master's. You can go extend your career as a student if that's what you want to do. If you want to be a career student, you can go do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get to go back to the school that you were at and say, you know what, I just want to redo senior year. You know what was cool? Senior year. Personally, I thought senior year was cool because I had all of my credits in. So senior year was like 2 classes that I stacked on one day.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to school on I remember my second semester senior year, I had class on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
So I was done with school for the week by Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I was off on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was great. That was awesome.
It was great.
But a year later, I couldn't say, hey, by the way, take me back. I just want to chill here in the radio department here at Columbia College Chicago and I just want to chill and take 1 class a week and just hang around because I ain't got anything else to do in my life.
No, they're like,
you can't do that.
Get out of here.
Move on.
I just think that until there's a governing body, there's someone, like literally a body, a person, or a committee or someone to take this over. And this is what they're trying to do with that Save College Athletics Act. And some of it is good and some of it is bad, trying to pass this through Congress. Because what we heard from Pete Thamel say is the courts, the legal courts, trump conference law.
Yeah,
like
of course.
The law,
Yes.
the actual law,
Yes,
the
it will.
judges
Yes.
are bigger than conference law. So if a judge comes through and says, I don't care what your conferences say, make all the rules you want to, guess what? These 3 guys or 2 guys get to play on Saturday for Lane Kiffin and LSU. Tough crap, SEC and Greg Sankey. They're playing.
Speaking of, you can always call or text the show, Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports at 310-840-4910. A text from the 251 points out a tweet to us, and so shout out to that great texter for letting us know about this from 2 hours ago on Pro Football Talk. Here's the tweet and the story. Lane Kiffin and USC reportedly instigated the 5th-year lawsuit that created the current college football chaos and possibly interfered with the contractual rights of multiple NFL teams. So that's the story that's up there on Pro Football Talk. So if Lane Kiffin is the one that's behind starting all of this to begin with, it's probably a bigger problem for LSU as well.
Yeah, I mean, are you surprised?
If the SEC is saying this is the punishment, and then they come to find out that this is all started because Lane Kiffin was the one that was meddling with those who are on NFL teams, trying to convince them to come back to LSU because he doesn't think that they have a chance to make the Cleveland Browns, it's probably going to be a problem for him.
Are you surprised by that at all from Lane?
No, I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not. It's Lane Kiffin. He's always fallen up. His entire coaching career, he's fallen forward and up. Every stop. Now he was good at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, he should have stayed there. It's a much bigger pond at LSU with higher expectations. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM, channel 375. All of our great radio affiliates around the country. We're on the air until 3 Eastern. You can always call or text the show at 310-840-4910. Is there a quarterback who's drafted in the first round in the last couple of years? A lot of hype around him. He had a chance. He was in a quarterback battle here in this training camp. Could that quarterback get cut before the season starts? We'll tell you about that story coming up next. Football is back and something big is coming on September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day arrives.
New DraftKings customers sign up with code BNA26 and spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That includes all markets.
That's code BNA26 for Bleck and Abdalla 26 in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MyReset. Connecticut. Call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involve risk of loss. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. $50 in rewards issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Terms at dkng.co/offer. Limited time offer. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability. Varies by state.
Tomorrow may be the last time this year we see first-round QBs Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson. Will the rookies leave a lasting impression to close out the preseason? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Usually quarterbacks get what? 2-3 years to figure it out before a team just pulls the ripcord and says, all right, we're done. And they let them loose. You know, one of the quarterbacks that was drafted a couple seasons ago that was in a quarterback battle here in this training camp, there's two of them specifically. We talked yesterday here on the show about Michael Penix. He might win the job with the Falcons. He might. Tua's looked terrible. So Michael Penix might win the starting quarterback job for Atlanta. All right, that's fair. The other, J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy, it was, 2 weeks ago that the Vikings announced that Kyler Murray will be the starting quarterback for the season? Well, it was reported the last couple days at camp that J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz have been splitting the second team reps. Is it possible that J.J. McCarthy could get released before the season starts? Is it possible that Carson Wentz could win the backup job to Kyler Murray for the Minnesota Vikings? And it's not me just coming up with this on my own. It is out there. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, he talked about it on their site today. Is McCarthy the, quote, odd man out in the Vikings quarterback room? Could he be released before we get to the season?
No, he's not going to be released.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Look at the contract. They've already paid J.J. McCarthy his guaranteed money. He was a first-round draft pick.
It's not about the contract, I don't think. It's about
But the contract helps in the idea that there's no reason to necessarily stick with him if nothing. Like, why on earth? How could you be in a quarterback battle with Kyler Murray and now you're splitting second-team reps? J.J. McCarthy's that bad? You and I, like, here's why I wanted to talk about this. You and I have been on the forefront for years that we were not guys that thought that J.J. McCarthy was going to be good in the NFL. Full disclosure, we broadcast each and every day out of Chicago. J.J. McCarthy went to high school in the Chicagoland area. He was highly touted, highly recruited. We knew about him when he was in high school. He then went and played his final year at the IMG Academy down in Florida. But then he went to Michigan. And at Michigan, the story was this, right? How did Michigan win with Jim Harbaugh?
Running the ball.
They ran the football with great defense, and JJ didn't mess up.
Yeah.
Some of those games that they won, the season that they won the national title, JJ McCarthy threw the ball like 14 times, 17 pass attempts, right? This wasn't run and shoot. This wasn't playing quarterback for Mike Leach, right? This was manage an offense as a college quarterback winning a national title.
Yeah.
Okay? You and I looked at that. We were fans of a team that desperately needed a quarterback. And we thought that, hey, throughout that season, the Chicago Bears were not very good. So we spent a lot of time on the air in Chicago, you know, talking about a bad football product on the field on Sundays, but also Bleck and Abdalla show looking ahead. Hey, here are the names in college football to keep your eyes on, right? So we're watching Michael Penix. We're watching J.J. McCarthy. We're watching Drake May and Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and trying to figure out who these guys are and who they will be in the NFL.
Yeah.
You and I have been in lockstep from the jump that we did not think that J.J. McCarthy would be a difference maker in the NFL.
No, but the problem is he's got value. Still, one man's trash is still another man's treasure because of his age and because of what he could be.
Oh, I think it's still trash.
No.
I think one man's trash is still trash.
He's still treasure because there's
no treasure in the trash.
There's treasure out there because there's still Mike McCarthy's out there. There's still Sean McVay's out there. There's still Kyle Shanahan's out there that still believe that they could turn
fair,
Mike
fair.
that still think that they can change JJ McCarthy's into someone's.
Okay, I love this. I love this. Keep going. Keep going with it.
They believe
I got something for you on this.
So what will happen at a certain point is that Kyler Murray will get hurt at a certain point. Like 80% of quarterbacks miss games, right? So if J.J. McCarthy is the number 2 quarterback and he comes in and he plays well, at a certain point, if he plays well, you will get trade offers. Or here's the other scenario. What if Kyler Murray sucks? What if he's bad? What if he's just not good?
So why is Carson Wentz splitting second-team reps with
Because
J.J. McCarthy?
Because you just got to figure it out.
Oh, I don't know.
You just got to figure it out. Why are any of these second and third stringers splitting reps? Because it's the end of training camp, and you got to figure out who's your second and third string guy.
All right, let me take what you were selling, right? You listed off play callers, right?
Yeah.
Guys who help quarterbacks rehab their quarterback image on the field, playing wise, right? Okay, you listed off some of those names.
Sure.
Is not Kevin O'Connell one of those leaders in that conversation?
He is.
Okay, so if Kevin O'Connell has you in his facility has had you since you were a rookie.
Yeah.
And at this point, you are going backwards.
Yep.
What does that say?
Well,
what does that say about J.J. McCarthy, the player? Kevin O'Connell is one of the guys who takes the beat-up car and he rehabs it, and then boom.
Okay.
Throws a fresh paint job on there and new tires, and boom, he's rolling.
But don't you think that in their minds, the big egos that we see in the NFL, all these coaches, don't you think that all these guys, McVay, Shanahan, McCarthy, they all think I'm better than that guy. I am a better developer than that guy.
I
don't you think? Okay,
I get your point, but I do think with Kevin O'Connell, he's one of those where it's like, well, if he saw that, then
you've got a guy. Here's a direct quote from Mason Rudolph, who is in the Mike McCarthy system right now, who said he's jealous of the development that the younger guys are getting because he didn't have that under Tomlin. He's taking shots at his old coach. So don't you think? And look, no shade, but Mike McCarthy developed Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott. Kevin O'Connell, Sam Darnold. I'm just saying, not saying, just saying. Not saying, just saying. So
what are you saying?
That Sam Darnold is a little bit different than Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott.
Okay, all right.
Little bit different.
All right.
So one guy could say, hey, you know what? We finished with 8-9 wins. We didn't make the playoffs. We're not in a position to draft one of these guys that's going to go in the top 5. We need a quarterback. Vikings, you don't need him anymore. Come to the Mike McCarthy School of Quarterbacks. I'm going to coach you up. We're going to develop you into something. You're still young. Let's develop you into something and see what we got. So, no, they're not going to put him on the practice squad or cut him or whatever or put him on waivers because he's going to get scooped up in a second.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I just wonder the Kevin O'Connell, the KOC, if that is if he's not interested in having JJ as the backup, what does that really mean about the player and his development? And I said KOC. I did not say AOC Costos.
And I don't care where you lean politically, AOC's hot.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I don't know I don't know what's happening on the network on the show before ours. Nick Costos doing a great job.
And I don't care where you lean politically, AOC's hot.
Can I give you a report on another quarterback coming out of camp right now?
Sure, yes. Is it something that Nick Costos has talked about here on the show before?
Do women find Justin Herbert to be very attractive?
It might be near and dear to his heart as a Giants fan.
Do women find Justin Herbert to be very attractive? And I don't care where you lean politically, AOC's hot. Just saying.
Nikki Jabavla, who covers the Commanders for The Athletic.
Oh, no.
Previously with the Washington Post.
Oh, geez.
Is reporting from Commanders camp. This is the worst I've seen the Commanders offense in years.
Jeez.
Just an inoperable offensive line.
What?
This is the worst I've seen the Commanders offense in years.
Someone better make sure Linnell is okay. He's really banking on the Commanders to be fantastic this year.
So look,
I'm listening to the show.
Exactly. Like, that's my point. Like, we don't know what this means for these quarterbacks. Like, we saw Jaden Daniels take a team to the NFC Championship game. Then we saw him get hurt and miss half the year. This is a make it or break it year for a lot of these quarterbacks. Like, you think if Jaden Daniels is bad for a year, they're just going to toss him out?
No. Okay. That's not a great
And I don't care where you lean politically, AOC's hot. Just saying.
Isn't Costos off this week? He's off this week on the network? Oh, Chris Maxson.
I've already been beating it all summer long.
Okay, Chris Mack. What are we doing here?
Been beating it all summer long.
All right. Let's get this back on the road. I mean, let's get this show.
The worst I've seen the Commanders offense in years.
I would just be concerned that if J.J. McCarthy can't even be the backup to Kyler Murray, then that's a major problem. That's a major problem to me. You know, he's a kid that was supposed to be a great prospect, and it just really never panned out. Whether it be the development, which you can blame, I guess, or you could say that he just was never as good as the others, and now we're seeing it at this level. We've seen quarterbacks drafted in the first round fizzle out. Josh Rosen, Zach Wilson, right? Like, it's happened. Mitchell Trubisky. Trubisky is a career backup.
Yeah.
He just is.
Yeah.
You know, Justin Fields has looked horrendous for the Chiefs as a backup quarterback. Like Justin Fields, that's a guy out of college I thought had it. He doesn't. He can't do it. And it's proven. And it's possible that J.J. McCarthy might follow in that kind of way as well. Bleck Abdalla, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Michael Jordan will not return. We'll explain what that means coming up next.
College football is back this weekend, headlined by Bill Belichick in North Carolina facing TCU. And we've got the game live from Dublin, Ireland. So grab a Guinness and listen on the Westwood One Sports app. TCU, Carolina, Saturday at noon Eastern. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Michael Jordan will not return, or at least he's not expected to return.
I'm not back.
Huh? To what? What is he doing? NASCAR? He's crushing it. As an owner in NASCAR, he's winning.
Much better as an owner than that than he was an owner in the NBA.
That's to be fair. Yeah, that's fair. And quite honestly, based on all the conversations he's around, he's on the broadcast, right? They interview him often. He seems to really enjoy being an owner in NASCAR and winning in NASCAR, which is very cool. Here's the story. This is from Front Office Sports. Michael Jordan is not expected to return to NBC Sports in their coverage of the NBA this season. Okay.
He won't be missed.
Not surprised. The promotion that Jordan was going to be a part of, the NBA on NBC, for it to be a 17-minute conversation filmed once with Mike Tirico, chopped up into 3 or 4 different pieces, while wearing slick, cool, white Jordan shoes. Tirico getting the fresh kicks out for it. Yeah, it was definitely an oversell.
Yeah.
They like, here's the context, right? Hearing from Michael Jordan talking about the NBA is great for everybody. For people who are fans of Jordan, for youngsters, young people who have never really heard from him, outside of watching The Last Dance, he's not really accessible. He's not around unless you're watching NASCAR coverage, where he is very accessible.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the NBA, the league's greatest player of all time not really being around, that's not good. So it was good to have him be somewhat around.
It was.
With that said, NBC oversold it. He wasn't on a desk. He wasn't covering games. He wasn't chatting with Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny. Right? Like he wasn't a part of it. It was one conversation where he talked and then they chopped it up into a couple different clips. So to say that Jordan's not expected to return does not surprise me whatsoever, because what did we really get last year? It didn't do anything. Like, did Michael Jordan, a 3-minute segment of Jordan on the pregame show, did that change the ratings for the NBA on NBC last year?
No, and I don't need him talking about load management, and I don't need him talking about how we played in back-to-backs, and I used to go play 36 holes, and then I would go, drop 40. Like,
well, those stories are legendary with Jordan, because those stories are true. We've heard from people.
We know them.
We've
That's
heard,
the problem.
But I don't know if young people realize that. Meanwhile, LeBron is spending what? Was it? It's reported like he spends $1 million a year getting his body right to play.
And that's great.
Meanwhile,
cool.
Jordan
awesome.
was staying up all night gambling.
Yeah.
And then he would go play 36 holes of golf.
Bro.
He would gamble on the golf.
Yeah.
And then he would tell people at the golf match that, hey, by the way, just because I feel like it tonight, I'm going to drop 50. And then he would bet with them on different items and things. And then he would go out there and then lay 50 on the Cavs or the Bucks or whoever.
Exactly.
Like there's a reason to why Jordan's the greatest ever.
But I want to hear him talking about the game today. I don't want to hear him doing the what's wrong with these kids today. That's not what I want. I want to hear him talking about Victor Wembanyama. I want him, I don't need him at the telestrator. I don't need that. But I want to hear him commentating on what he thinks of the Thunder and what he thinks of Victor Wembanyama and what he thinks of the Knicks and what he thinks of everything. Like, that's what I want to hear. I don't need stories complaining about what the difference is between this league and comparing it to the old league. I don't need that. I want him. The best thing about what the NFL is that you've got older players talking about how good the NFL is now. That's what's good about the NFL.
Yeah, they have a lot of older players who are around the game talking about the game. And even guys who just recently retired who are clearly promoting the brand and being a part of it, right? Like, you and I joke a lot on this show about Mr. Polarizing Figure, Pat McAfee, Jason Kelsey, right? Like, two guys that, hey, I'll give them credit to this. They played not too long ago, and they are there to support the product of the NFL.
Yeah.
I get it. I know it's financially beneficial for them to do so, but they're around. And you get the enthusiasm from people who are supporting the game. Like, the biggest issue the NBA has faced in the last 10 years, I think, with that conversation is that all of the old heads who are on TV hate today's game.
That's the problem.
So all they do is crap on the stuff that's taking place today.
Exactly. Like, what did arguably the best player in NFL history do the second he stepped off the field? He got into a booth.
And not only that, Tom Brady got into a booth, worked on it, and he is now becoming a very good broadcaster, explaining what he saw and how he won as the greatest player in the league's history.
Exactly.
So like that's the insight you want from Jordan.
Yeah, that's what I want. And I don't need him to be on the play as a color analyst on a game. Like, I don't need that. But I don't want to see him just crapping on the game. That's not good. That's not good for the league. That's what's not good for the league.
No, I don't think I don't think that's his angle. I don't think he's bent on that stuff. I think he wanted to make a point releasing The Last Dance. I think he wanted people to understand what happened in the 90s. Yeah. So if you're a younger guy that's listening to the Bleck and Abdalla show and you're like, hey, you guys just sound like elder millennials talking about Jordan, I think a part of the motivation for Jordan to give the go-ahead to release The Last Dance, because he's the one that owned the rights to the tapes. So he had a crew that followed him that 98 season. And then those tapes I believe they sat in Secaucus, right, for like 20, 30 years at like NBA's archives because he didn't want anything done with them. And then when the LeBron love got a little over the top, the Warriors, their run is, oh, hey, this is the greatest team ever. And that started to go a little over the top. I think that's when Jordan said, release the tapes. Release the tapes.
Release the Kraken.
And I think that's where you get The Last Dance. It shows a little bit of how different it was at the time and what that team was, the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, and why they're different than every other team we've seen for the most part in the last 60 years of American sports.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can find a comp that's anywhere close. And I know that you and I are broadcasting from the epicenter. We were here. We were kids in the 90s watching this.
Yeah.
It was, as a kid, it was like the only thing that mattered to us.
It was.
The 90s Bulls and Jordan and Pippen and all of that. And, so I think that's where it comes from. But you're right. You would like to see more of Michael around the NBA and talking about the NBA and participating. I think that's good. We made the joke that, like, did people even tune in to see these interviews with Tirico last season on the NBA and NBC? Stu Kovacs is filling in for Raj today, producing the show. And Stu sends us a message. He didn't catch it live once. Yeah. Every single time he saw it, it was on Twitter or on social media, and it was after the fact. It was never appointment television during the season when Michael was on these interviews with Tirico before the game.
I remember watching the first one live and being like, that's
it?
That's what we're getting?
That's all we're doing?
More after the break, right? No?
Nope.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, here's Maria Taylor and the rest of the who she talked to. It's Vince Carter, was
All
he
right.
hanging around? Someone
I guess
else?
we're going back
All right,
to the game.
Carmelo, your thoughts? All right.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Well, they got the song. They got John Tesh back.
Basketball,
Yeah.
yep, cool. All right, awesome. Great.
Forget Jordan. Oh, wait.
Great.
They dust off Bob Costas to do a little intro for an essay for one of the games.
Awesome.
It's like, okay, all right. I mean, it all works. The nostalgia aspect was great.
Nostalgia's cool for a little bit.
But where's Jordan? Now, to be fair, the NBA product last year was great on television, and NBC did a great job.
Yeah.
And the games were great.
The games are good.
They had a great champion.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to make fun. The New York Knicks won the championship, and it was great to see a team that was put together years ago come together and figure out a way to win. That's the way it should be. And people responded by watching. Remember in May and in June when we were reading off the numbers from the playoffs?
They did great.
People were really interested in the NBA product this year.
Everybody watched. It was great. But I just think
except the Jordan part.
Well, yeah, except for the Jordan part. And, people like nostalgia, then eventually nostalgia wears off. People are like, oh, cool, the song's back. And then eventually you're like, yeah, okay, the song's back. We get it.
But I disagree. I think the entire season, NBC did a great job.
Okay, now what this year?
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Now, what tricks you got up your sleeve this year, NBC?
I think NBC and Prime both upped their game this last year.
What tricks you got up your sleeve this year, NBC?
Who do they somehow they dig up? They find Larry Bird from whatever farm he's working on with his bad back.
Impress me.
Here's a conversation with Larry Bird. Jamar Chase. He says he's okay. Is he? We'll update that next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports in the Westwood One Sports app. There's a video out of Cincinnati Bengals practice yesterday. We talked about it at the end of our show yesterday. Jamar Chase running down the right sideline, comes up. It looks like he twists his knee, hyperextension a bit. He grabs it, falls to the ground, tries to get up, walking gingerly, gets to the sideline, and then falls back down to the ground holding his knee. Now, Jamar Chase, after practice, was on a local radio station in Cincinnati. He spoke to the media, and he said that he was fine.
Yeah.
He said that if there was a game today, Jamar Chase said he would play. Now, we haven't seen any updates to the knee tweak, I guess to say. Like, I don't know if I would call it an injury. But what Jamar Chase said is that he's fine. He said it was a little hyperextension, but he feels fine and he would play today. Now, obviously, that is always, if the player says that, you feel good about it, but you don't feel great about it until the doctors have ran tests, they've looked at it, you know, whatever that is, day after, if there's swelling, anything that goes into it. But it does seem as to appear that the Cincinnati Bengals dodged a bullet with Jamar Chase not being injured yesterday at practice.
And look, the player can say whatever they want to. You can, if there was a game tomorrow, I'd play. There's not a game for 18 days, but if there's a game tomorrow, I'd play.
Which helps. It helps that they don't have a game for 18 days. Yes.
Yeah, and he's probably not going to play in the preseason game this weekend for the Bengals. So, look, did they dodge a bullet? Absolutely. He's one of the top two, probably the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the NFL. So, and for Joe Burrow, needing him and T. Higgins healthy, that's absolutely the case. And just from an NFL fan standpoint, you don't want one of the best players in the NFL to get hurt, just from a watching standpoint, right? Like, I'm not even a Bengals fan, and I don't want to see that to happen, just from a pure visual standpoint. Like, I want to see the Bengals be a contender this year just because it's entertaining to have the Bengals offense out there and healthy. Like, the last thing I want to happen is Joe Burrow to get hurt, because that's not entertaining. having Joe Burrow on the sideline and having Joe Flacco out there for 8 games again, that's not entertaining.
No.
Like, it's cool for a game to be like, Joe Flacco's out there. Let's see if he can throw for 500 yards again. Like, okay, but then ultimately, like, it's not.
I've seen that movie, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need a remake of it.
I don't need that. I'll watch it if that's on TNT on a random Sunday in June.
You won't.
Maybe.
No, because you know
why? I've
why?
seen The Dark Knight like 30 times. So.
Yeah, that's a classic. But I guarantee you have not rewatched the remake of Point Break multiple times.
I've never seen the remake of Point Break.
That's my point.
I've never seen the remake of Point Break.
Thank you. That's my point.
So
the original, you're in.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Catherine Bigelow's classic from the 90s.
For sure.
Johnny Utah.
I don't even know who made the remake.
Utah, give me 2. Come on, of course.
Yeah.
Point Break's great. So I would say, when you look at Cincinnati, and I look at the rest of the National Football League, it's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM, channel 375. All of our great radio affiliates around the country. We're on the air until 3 Eastern. You can always join the show at 310-840-4910. That's the call and text line here with Bleck and Abdalla. I'd say this. In the NFL, I feel as if we talk about Cincinnati in terms of if they stay healthy more than any other team in the NFL. Blanket statement to start the conversation. I understand. If you have a massive injury to your team, and especially at quarterback, chances are you're not making the playoffs. Mm-hmm. If your starting quarterback is one of those 15 top guys, 10 top guys in the league, and they are out for the season, unless you have the best head coach in football and a defense and a team that's built up around that you don't need that quarterback, chances are you're not making the playoffs, right? So, I feel like as a football community, we can all agree that the conversation of if they stay healthy is kind of stupid sometimes, right? Of course, if teams stay healthy, they could be good. But the NFL, you don't stay healthy. That's not something that happens. You have to have depth. I do feel as if Cincinnati is one of those teams that leads the way when it comes to the conversation of if they stay healthy, they could do this. Mm-hmm. There's a couple other teams that come to mind on my short list of those teams. And I think Cincinnati is number one by far because it comes up each and every year with Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow stays healthy, the Bengals are a team that competes for the playoffs. If not, they get into the playoffs and they're dangerous. We've seen Joe Burrow go on the road in the playoffs and win games, right? We've seen him perform at the highest level, get the team to the Super Bowl if he stays healthy. Here are the 3 other teams I would enter into the conversation, okay? And I guess the way I view this, Abdalla, is they're skating on thin ice, maybe is the way I would put it, or right? Because if you have a major injury, it throws the entire team off balance. Mm-hmm. They can't recover from it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of looking at with these teams. So Cincinnati's one, 3 others. The second team on that list, I think it's obvious if you go back to last season and you look at how the end of this season played out. Kansas City, right? If Mahomes is healthy, Kansas City's at least a 500 team. If Kansas City is not healthy, if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt and is out for the season again, Kansas City isn't making the playoffs. They can't make up for that. That's not something they can do. So I've got Kansas City on my list. A little bit different philosophy, but I do feel like it's a part of the conversation every year with this team. The second team I have on this list, the short list of teams that we talk about, most dependent on health for success in the season, would be San Francisco. Isn't every conversation with the 49ers yeah, they've got a great coach and they're a great team. They can't stay healthy. If the 49ers could stay healthy, they could beat Seattle or Los Angeles. They could get to the Super Bowl. But the electrical substation's lurking in the background, and that the substation wants to be a part of the season. It doesn't want to just sit and not partake. So the electrical substation's out there at the practice facility, snapping tendons, taking ligaments, zapping brains. So San Francisco's on my list. Mm-hmm. And then the final team that I would add to this kind of goes with the idea of being flimsy. Like they're on a razor's edge on whether or not this team could be really good or this team could maybe fall apart and not be what we saw last season. And that fourth team would be Chicago. I think the Chicago Bears have top-level players offensively at the top. But I think if you have major injury to that offense, the defense isn't good enough, and I don't know if the backups can tread water for 3/4 of a season to make the playoffs. Like, what you need in Chicago is the top players on that offense to be healthy for the entire season, that being Caleb Williams, Colson Loveland, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden.
Mm-hmm.
And if all 4 of those guys are healthy for the entire season, they also have to have great seasons, right? So, like, for the Bears to be good, they need those guys to be healthy and they need to take another step forward. And so those are the 4 teams that I thought of. When you think about the NFL and you say, hey, you know, Jamar Chase, he almost went down yesterday. Hopefully he's okay. He says he's okay. All right, good. Cincinnati, if they stay healthy, they could be really good this year. Who are the teams that you think of who are most dependent on health for the success of this upcoming season?
So I think we're looking at it from a completely different perspective because I think 2 of those teams that you mentioned shouldn't be on the list that you came up with.
Okay.
Because when I look at it teams that are constantly hurt, that are constantly crossing their fingers, and their medical staff is like constantly on standby in a runner's stance in the runner's blocks, like waiting to run out. Like if they were a soccer team, they would always be holding that little stretcher to run out and spray the cold spray on the players and then stretcher off a player. That's how this would be. The cart is always turned on for this team, right? Waiting to take players off the field during a game. The Bengals are obviously number 1, right? Or close to number 1, I would say. To me, number 1 are the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Like it's, you just look at their team, look at how they play, look at how it's just, if you set your phone to alert when a 49ers player go down, your phone would start on fire. So don't do that. Number 2 would probably be the Bengals, just because of Joe Burrow's health and the way he operates. And I mean, look, you've got offensive linemen that are hurt. You've got Joe Burrow gets hurt the way, I mean, Jamar Chase it traditionally isn't hurt, but we saw that yesterday. It's mostly Joe Burrow and that offensive line. I don't put Patrick Mahomes in there because if you look at his history, he's played, even go back to 2021, 17, 17, 16, 16. Last year, he played 14 games. I understand what you're saying. It relies on him staying healthy, and if he's not, it goes to crap. But he's traditionally a healthy guy.
Yeah, and what I was thinking of was last season.
I know.
They lost every game after he was out.
Absolutely.
Right? So the season
For
gone.
sure. I also don't look
KC
at...
fans know that, listening to the show.
Yeah. I also don't look at the Bears as that because Caleb doesn't miss games. He doesn't get hurt. He's a durable guy, right?
Don't do that to us.
I don't want to put that bad juju out there, but traditionally Caleb is a healthy guy, okay? So, I have 2 more teams that I would put in there. One of them we talked about a little bit ago as having one of the worst offenses that one of their reporters has seen in years. It's the Washington Commanders, because Jaden Daniels is coming off of a season where he only played in 8 games. He's coming off of the season before that where he took his team to the NFC Championship game. And we know the way that he plays, it's constantly putting himself into danger. They're a contending team where unless he changes his style of play, and even the year where he did play, he was in and out of practice. He was on the injury report. There were concerns about his health. He did get them far, but it was a season where it was like, is this guy going to play? Is this guy going to suit up every week? That kind of thing, right? Yep. Okay? The other one and my final team are the Chargers. The Chargers have already had an offensive lineman go down for the season.
Yeah.
They've already had seasons where they're constantly, where Justin Herbert is constantly banged up. He's constantly running for his life. They cannot afford, they've already had 2 offensive linemen go down this year. You cannot afford more injuries to your offensive line every single year like this, and they don't seem like they ever have the depth on that offensive line to take care of Justin Herbert, and it seems like already this year that they're not going to have it. So those are, I agree with you on the Bengals and the 49ers, and I'm going to throw in there for my other 2 teams, the Commanders and the Chargers.
You can always text or call this show at 310-840-4910. Which NFL team do you think it matters the most that they are dependent on health for the success of this season? You know, we listed off a bunch of those teams. I think your options are good options. I think the Chargers, I agree. If the Chargers can stay healthy, sure, they could certainly be a very good team. The question is, can they stay healthy? I think when you look at some of these options around the NFL, like the one thing with San Francisco that I think is interesting is San Francisco's question to staying healthy is not top heavy towards quarterback. Right? Like they're the one situation where really, if everything else could figure itself out,
that's the problem.
Right? Like if the substation would stop zapping ligaments and soft tissue.
Their coach is getting hurt.
Coach,
their owner's mind is getting blasted.
I mean, you
pardon the expression.
Heading to the trailer park. I mean, $140. Geez. I mean, the guys,
which is funny because
how much?
The trailer park owner had to put out a statement to be like,
I was unaware.
The trailer park is not where the sting was taking place. It is where he was pulled over by police.
It was not our trailer park.
It is not. The trailer park is not where the sting was taking place.
There are no tricks being turned.
There's
here
nothing happening at the trailer park.
Well, I would say, but San Francisco is the one team that if you told me the offense was healthy, like Trent Williams was healthy, George Kittle was healthy, Christian McCaffrey was healthy, Mike Evans stays healthy for the season. If you told me that all of those players stayed healthy for the season, but Brock Purdy missed 14 games and Mac Jones had to start, I would say they're the one team where I'd be like, I think they could get through that.
Well, we talked. Mac Jones went 5-3 in his 8 games.
But like every other team that we talked about, if they lose their starting quarterback, season's over.
Well, I'm not
season's over.
But again, I'm not even worried about
the 49ers are the one team where if they would just get health from everywhere else, they actually could be okay with Brock Purdy not there because I think Mac Jones is a good backup.
But with the Chargers, I'm not even worried about their starting quarterback getting hurt. It's their offensive line.
Yes, offensive line's tough.
Herbert was banged up because of their offensive line constantly getting hurt. That was their problem last year, and it's their problem this year too.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports in the Westwood One Sports app. 2 notes of news that have just passed along in the last 10 minutes. From ESPN, the Falcons say that Michael Penix will not play in Friday night's preseason finale against the Dolphins.
Well, he's not going to be the starter.
Per head coach Kevin Stefanski. So I think you're right. That would lead me to believe that Tua Tagovailoa will be the starter for the start of the season for Atlanta. So that's the latest out of Atlanta. The other piece of news comes to us from the ACC. So Pete Thamel on ESPN reporting that the ACC, the athletic directors met today. There's momentum for the ACC to join the Big Ten and the SEC in banning NFL players from coming to their conference. So,
Big 12?
So there you go. So right now we have the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC. There's momentum. Notre Dame is on board. We will wait for the Big 12, which it sounds like they're going to be on board as well, from banning players from being a part of it. What if Lane wants to go rogue? He wants to be like the pirate. And
they put out the rules.
What if he tells LSU, let's rip away from the SEC? Let's voyage on our own. What if LSU just wanted to be an independent like Notre Dame? Come on. They've got Kiffin now.
It takes time. You can't just do it this year.
I know you can't.
Man, Lane Kiffin is going to...
What is he going to do?
He's ruining college football.
It's Bleck Abdalla. Does the latest news out of the SEC affect Lane Kiffin's value? We'll tell you that coming up in Stock Watch with Stu right here on Westwood One Sports. Football is back. And something big is coming on September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day arrives.
New DraftKings customers sign up with code BNA26 and spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That includes all markets.
That's code BNA26 for Bleck and Abdalla 26. Guys, the time's now. Football is back. That's right. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Connecticut. Call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involve risk of loss. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. $50 in rewards issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Terms at dkng.co/offer. Limited time offer. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability. Varies by state.
The Browns named Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback. Has there ever been a Week 1 starter less popular with his own fan base?
Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. And that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. So what does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer.
He complained about the fans, then immediately was named their QB. That's a new one, even for Cleveland.
You know, it is what it is. You know, sometimes, the tables turn.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Live from Chicago each and every day on the air until 3 Eastern. I'm so upset about this. We have Stock Watch with Stu coming up. Stu's in for Raj today.
Just give it real quick.
Well, I can't. I'm gonna be upset about this. I'm gonna be ranting and raving about this topic with college football.
Tease it. You do the old 15, 20-minute tease.
Stu, I just saw something in college
Otherwise,
football.
you're gonna
very
stew about it.
This is okay. All right, take a lap for that. I mean, my God. All right, first of all, let me set the stage. Raj is off today. Stu Kovacs is filling in for Raj today. Stu is in New Jersey. He's producing the show today. It's now time for Stock Watch with Stu. Hello, Stu. I am very agitated over something. Do you want me to bring it up here in Stock Watch and we will get to the rest of the questions in a second, or should we wait for this? It's really bothering me.
I think this will be a good tease for next segment.
Oh, okay. All right.
Chris
Hold
is
it.
pissed.
Hold it. I'm pissed.
Let's tell you why next.
Bottle it up.
Let me tell you, here's the tease. It has to do with college football. It has to do with the way we watch college football. It has nothing to do with the players trying to sue to get back in, NFL guys. No,
I think you're gonna sue.
Why are we changing
that.
everything? That's what I don't understand. Just leave it be. All right, Stu. It's time for Stock Watch. Hey, Stu, good to talk to you, my man. What's up?
Good to talk to you guys too. You guys do mention the players trying to return for a fifth year and possibly suing. Well, it is Lane Kiffin, the LSU head coach, who has kind of led that charge in trying to reacquire these guys from the NFL back to college, and the SEC, the Big Ten, and as you mentioned last segment, the ACC, and it appears others are trying to put a kibosh on that. So what do we think, Bleck, of Lane Kiffin right now? Stock up or stock down?
Okay, Lane Kiffin stock. I'm going to give you Lane's stock. I'm going to go down because if we were buying and selling this, I think Lane is going to, the bubble will burst at some point. So, like, if you had Lane's stock when he was at Ole Miss, it was beneficial for your portfolio, right? Now, at LSU, I don't see him winning national titles. And I said titles, not one, because we've seen other head coaches win a national title at LSU and it didn't save them. So I'm guessing that this is the high point for Lane Kiffin. So I would sell this stock. You see what I'm saying? I would have taken my investment off of he got the big job out of Ole Miss, and then I'm out.
Yeah, I don't see him ever winning a national championship at LSU. I don't think he will. I think that now the way the college football landscape works, everyone's got money. The Big Ten has more of it. They just do. They've got the bigger donors. They've got the bigger NIL funds. And until it's regulated and maybe there's like a cap of some form, the Big Ten will always have the biggest donors. I'm not making an excuse for the SEC. Recruit better. Do your job, you know? So I also sell Lane Kiffin. Listen, he's better than, he's a better coach than, he's not a better recruiter, but he's a better head coach than Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You know?
Orgeron's, he's a great recruiter. And now that he's on Kiffin's staff like he was at USC, you know, that's a great combination.
Yeah.
But Kiffin's the better head coach, and I think Kiffin will be a better head coach than Brian Kelly.
He's a better head coach than Brian Kelly.
You know, Les Miles won a national title at LSU.
Look, he hasn't asked a kid to go up and film practice yet, so he's ahead of the curve there.
Yes, that's what happened at Notre Dame with Brian Kelly.
Google it.
Stu, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but
just Google it. It's tragic.
It's fun to make fun of Brian Kelly. It's a tragic story.
It's a very tragic story.
But yeah, look into that.
Look it up. It's about Brian Kelly. And so because of that, I would say I'm still selling it, but I think that he's going to be decent at LSU. I just don't think he's going to get like farther than he did at Ole Miss. I think his ceiling is going to be at LSU what it was at Ole Miss. He's going to be decent. He's going to make the playoff, and that's going to be about it. Stu?
All right. Well, looking at the NFL side of things, it was an interesting weekend and past few days for Deshaun Watson of the Browns. He was booed by Browns fans over the weekend. He responded to those boos, basically saying he didn't appreciate them. And then earlier this week, he was named the Browns starting quarterback. So, Abdalla, stock up or stock down on Deshaun Watson?
I will sell and stock down on Deshaun Watson. I will leave all this stock for Chris Bleck to buy. All of this is on the table.
No.
All of this is on the table for Chris Bleck to buy. He can gobble up all of that stock if he wants to. This is all for you, Chris.
What is that?
All for you.
I think the relatable item of stock relevance would be if you're looking at that Callaway stock today and the what's the brand? The Good? Is that what it is? Yeah, I think I'd sell on that right now.
Don't touch my driver.
Yeah, easy there, pal. I would say, I am not buying Deshaun Watson stock. I do know that with his head coach.
Josh is trying to get a sweet haircut.
Yeah, Todd Monken with his sweet haircut.
Josh is trying to get a sweet haircut.
And the fact that, Stu, the one thing you did not point out with Deshaun Watson is the apology for ripping the fans for being, quote, disrespectful to him on Saturday. Watson wants everyone to know that he's a big fan guy.
Big community guy, big city guy, big fan guy.
You know, he's just a big fan guy.
Big fan guy.
You know, who isn't a big fan guy?
Big community guy, big city guy, big fan guy.
Big fan guy for Deshaun Watson. I will sell the stock on Deshaun Watson. I think if the question...
There's a lot of it for you if you want it.
You know, I'm good. I think there's just piles and piles of that stock just waiting for someone to pick up. I don't think that's going to be a lotto ticket that will ever pan out. So I'm gonna pass on the big fan guy, Deshaun Watson.
Well, another quarterback competition that has been resolved is in Minnesota with the Vikings. Obviously, it is Kyler Murray getting the starting job there. And I guess the interesting thing the last few days has been the fact that the reports that Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy are splitting second-team reps at the quarterback position. So could it be J.J. McCarthy on his way out in Minnesota? But Kevin O'Connell, the head coach who is kind of the mastermind of everything there, kind of the quarterback whisperer. What do we think, Bleck, right now? Stock up or stock down on Kevin O'Connell?
Yeah, KOC. I'll buy. Stock up. I will buy Kevin O'Connell. I trust in it. And I think the Kyler Murray, quarterback rehab of his ability to play, I think it's going to work. And I think the Vikings will be a good team this season because of that. So, Kyler Murray has the talent. He just needs to be more consistent. We've seen him play very well in the NFL before. This isn't some quarterback that we've just never seen do anything. We've seen Kyler do some pretty crazy things on a football field. So I will buy KOC.
Yeah, I'll buy it too. I mean, look, you're setting him up with a really good defense. You're setting him up with some good wide receivers, and Justin Jefferson's there, and so I think he's going to be good. I just think that JJ McCarthy just might be bad. Like that just might be. He might not be fixable. He might just not be a good. And let's go to our text line real quick.
Oh, we got a text.
Yeah, we got a text.
310-840-4910. A text to the Bleck Abdalla show.
Our favorite texter from the 401.
Does Stu know about this texter?
He texts us a lot, Stu, specifically about JJ McCarthy.
He's a big JJ McCarthy supporter.
Only JJ McCarthy. And he texts us once again whenever we mention JJ McCarthy. And he said, Kevin O'Connell is wildly overrated as a quarterback's coach. He is hurting McCarthy, not helping JJ McCarthy. McCarthy will thrive elsewhere. Listen, Mr. 401, I'm from Chicago. I've been broadcasting out of this great city for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Don't tell me about
Abdalla just put it on the table.
No. Listen. Don't tell me about guys being better in other cities.
Here's my credentials.
I've lived through Mitchell Trubisky being quote better elsewhere, and I've lived through Justin Fields being quote better elsewhere.
Wasn't.
JJ McCarthy ain't gonna be better elsewhere. JJ McCarthy is just bad. Simple as that. Sorry.
Thought you were going to say something else there.
No.
All right, so there you go, Stu. There's Abdalla's thoughts for our great texter.
Better elsewhere.
From
Keep
the
texting.
401.
I love it. And listen, prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Well, one last quarterback battle seems to be in Atlanta, where it did seem over the past few days Michael Penix Jr. had some positive momentum to maybe possibly winning that job. But as you guys mentioned last segment, Adam Schefter reporting that he will not play in Friday's preseason finale against the Dolphins. So what do we think about Michael Penix Jr. right now, Abdalla? Stock up or stock down?
I mean, down. There's no stock to speak of. I would say.
I disagree. I'll say up, and I will buy because I think for this season, I think it's possible in the context of the conversation. I think it's possible that Michael Penix starts for the majority of the season for the Falcons. He just hasn't been healthy. If this quickly he was able to get back and to make it a question without being cleared for 11 on 11 up until 3 days ago, why can't he be the starter by week 4, week 5, and the rest of this season? So I will buy the Penix stock.
I am not gonna buy it. Like you said, I'm getting rid of it. I don't want any part of it. I think that they're going to be in a situation where they're gonna be they're gonna be drafting outside of the top 10, so maybe they don't get a quarterback, but they're gonna be in a position to sign someone. Tua's not going to be the long-term answer. Penix is not going to be the long-term answer. This coaching staff has no ties to Penix. They brought in Tua for a year. If he's not the answer, maybe they take a shot on JJ. Maybe they take a shot on someone else. Maybe they try to sign a veteran. Whatever it is, maybe they're in the, maybe someone else. Maybe Kyler Murray doesn't work out in Minnesota and he gets a shot in Atlanta. So who knows? I just don't think either QB is going to be on this roster after this year.
All right, we'll squeeze one more in here. The New York Giants, they got some bad news on the receiver front the other day with Calvin Austin tearing his ACL. He's out for the year. So that means that Odell Beckham Jr., who signed with the team this offseason, seems like he has a better shot now than ever to make this team. So what do we think, Bleck? Stock up or stock down on OBJ?
I'm going to say stock down. I'm not buying it. I also think because you had one social media viral catch years ago, you're not a superstar. You're not. It was a hell of a catch. For a brief moment in time in the NFL, you were a top 3 receiver. That didn't last for long. You've always been injured, and you haven't put up the production that you've put up from the past. So I'm going to sell. I'm going to be stocked down. Now, Stu, you're in New Jersey. Are you a Giants or a Jets fan?
I am neither. I am a Raiders fan. So.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Love it. All right.
Okay.
For better or worse, mostly worse.
Okay. All right, Raiders fan.
Okay.
I like
are
that.
Are you a start Mendoza or sit Mendoza Raiders fan?
I am a sit Mendoza. Do not get him killed by a still not good offensive line.
No, that's the end of stock watch. That's the end of stock watch. Get out of here.
Hard pass.
Get out of here
Stu,
with that nonsense.
Stu, what are you doing, man?
Get
you don't
outta
want Kirk
here.
Cousins.
I thought you
want
had the ball.
What's tell us, Stu, what's the vibe in the area that you're in the East Coast about Odell Beckham Jr.?
I do think a lot of people do now think that he is going to make the team. I don't know if they think he's going to have this amazing impact, but it's more of one of those, like, I don't know if it's a feel-good story, but just the fact that he was one of the better Giants of the past decade. So him coming back, kind of ending his career here, I think a lot of Giants fans will like. But, you know, their attention is more to the Malik Neighbors and others, Cam Scatterbo with the running back, Jackson Dart at the quarterback.
Boy, when does it ever work out where the like all-time great leaves and then comes back for like the final season? I know here.
Yeah, but Harbaugh loves him. He signed him in Baltimore
I'm saying
for a little
like
bit.
when you think about those players when they return back to the team, like it never works out. Like you know, we in Chicago, Scottie Pippen. He left Chicago to go play for Houston and Portland, and those teams were good. And then eventually he made his way back to Chicago when they had like Eddie Curry and Tyson Chandler, and boy, that was a disaster. So yeah, it almost never works when the player comes back to the team after the fact. But yeah, maybe he makes the roster. Did you answer, Abdalla? Are you in or out on Stock Watch for this?
I said out.
Are you out? Okay, all right, great. Awesome. Thank you, Stu.
Thanks, guys.
That was awesome, except for your comments about Mendoza. But you're wrong. You're wrong,
I just don't want to
Stu.
get killed. I've seen this before. I've seen this happen before. I don't know.
You have to trust that he's the
not
guy.
gonna get killed.
You got to trust that he's the guy. There you go. Stock Watch with Stu. Stu's filling in for Raj today. Raj is out. Can we say? We can't say what Raj is up to, right?
I think we can. I just don't think we don't know what he's in for.
Well, he's not. He was called for jury duty.
Yeah.
So maybe
we can say he's on jury duty.
Maybe Stu's back tomorrow.
We don't know what the case is what we're saying. What I'm saying.
Well, that's
we
what
don't
I'm
know,
saying.
Like, we don't know what the case is.
Raj may be on the case. What if he's locked in a hotel for the next 6 months trying to work out this case?
That's that's an underrated Pauly Shore movie, I think.
Is it really?
Jury Duty, yeah.
That's the name of the movie?
The name of the movie is Jury Duty, yes.
Oh, I was thinking of Juror Number 2. Did you see that film recently?
I don't even know what that is.
It was Clint Eastwood's last movie.
Disgusting.
It's very good. I'm serious. It's a good movie. Juror Number 2.
The Rural Juror?
So Jury Duty is with Pauly Shore?
Yeah, you've never seen Jury Duty?
I don't think so.
Well, you've got homework tonight.
I guess so.
The 1995 film, Jury Duty.
Where can I stream this?
I don't know. Internet?
Okay. All right. I don't want actual movie.
1995. Tia Carrera, Stanley Tucci.
Where
Pauly
to watch?
Shore.
It says YouTube TV.
All right, there you go.
Amazon Prime.
There you go.
All right, that's or I can rent it on Apple for $3. I think that's worth it.
They should give you $3.
It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Hanging out with you until 3 Eastern. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. There is something in college football that is changing, and it's very bothersome to me. I hate all this change with college football. Why do we need to keep changing things? I will tell you what that is coming up next.
The NFL preseason ends this week. Who will make the 53-man roster? And who will be working at Home Depot this fall? We've got the surprise cuts and names to watch. Just a couple weeks from kickoff. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
All right, this is very upsetting to me in the world of college football. I have a feeling I might be alone in this, and I don't care. Not everything has to change always. Just let it be. Front Office Sports is reporting that they have an exclusive. ESPN is getting rid of the bottom line ticker during college football games. The network confirms to Front Office Sports. So that means games this fall that ESPN will put together for college football on ABC, the ACC network, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN News, and the SEC network will no longer have the ticker at the bottom giving you scores like ESPN has always done this upcoming football season. Why? Why are we doing this?
Why not?
How is that bothering anyone?
Why do you need?
Are people really bothered by the scores at the bottom of the screen?
There's a game on ESPN right now. There's no ticker.
There's no games right now.
There's a game right now.
If there were games, you're watching Little League World Series.
There's baseball games happening right now.
Okay, well, I would like a ticker.
Why?
You know why? Because I would like to know.
Here's a comment on the tweet. How will I know what scores are happening? Someone's grandpa, probably.
That's not me. I'm not a grandpa.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You are. You've got a phone. You've got apps.
No,
you've got Twitter.
That's not.
When was the last
point.
time you're looking? That's
it's just nice to know what's on the bottom of the screen.
That's literally the TV guide channel of scores.
Young people don't even understand that reference.
My school district just went by. I gotta wait to see if the number goes by to see if my school is closed for a snow day. You're ridiculous. Get with the times. Oh my God.
I understand. I can look it up on my phone. First of all, just to make a comment, have you noticed that when you go to look for your score on that company's app, that how frequently does it actually just populate and give you the score?
I got just fine.
You got to sit there for like 3 minutes to wait for it to load.
I got good scores right here. You want good scores? I got good scores for you right here.
I've got loading issues.
I got those. Well, that's a personal problem. You might need a new. Stop throwing your phone when USC sucks, and you might be fine.
So I mean, that's one. Two. What's the problem with having it on in the background? Having it there.
Why do you need it? No one reads it.
I read it. Who doesn't? What do you mean no one reads it? It's there when you need it. You don't need. It's not because that's such a dumb idea.
You're the one. You're it. Bullying works once again.
People were really outraged that there was a ticker on the bottom of the.
A lot of people were outraged by this.
Is that really something that's out there?
A lot of people are celebrating this move. I think ESPN needed a win, and I think today they got one.
Because you know what they're probably the alternative was putting McAfee down there.
Yeah, well,
just have him crawling on the bottom of the screen at all times.
Him crawling
at all times. He's just down there.
A feed, a feed of what he's doing.
Just a feed of him just being a polarizing figure.
Now knowing am I best or am I cursed?
So bad.
Am I the best or the worst? Every day
That's what I'm saying.
It's true.
They needed a win. And today they got one.
I mean, we do ask ourselves that every day. Are we the best or are we the worst?
I know the answer to that.
It is definitely something. And
I know you're the oldest.
Well, I'm 41. I'm not old.
I'm older than you, and I've never felt younger than you in my life.
I honestly, I don't. Text the show, 310-840-4910. Did the bottom ticker bother you? How does that bother anybody?
It takes up like 10% of the screen.
You've got big screens. The screens are big enough.
You can look up scores on your small screen.
I don't care to do that. Just have it there.
You're ridiculous.
So you're telling me at the halftime, when they go to halftime and they say, "Hey, here's the halftime show brought to you by Aflac." You don't want them to give you scores, right? Because you can just look that up on your own. What would you rather want? You want more hot takes? You want some hot cakes and hot takes at halftime?
No, I want to watch the game. I want to watch the whole game. I want
a musical performance?
I want more.
No scores.
I want
right?
more of the players.
You don't want the scores of the games.
I don't.
You don't want to talk about the games that are taking place and news and information.
No, they're going to still have the ticker during the studio shows. I want to watch the games when I'm watching the games.
Your response makes it seem like the ticker is taking away from the game. It doesn't.
I'm watching the game. I want to watch the whole game. Why do I need to watch a ticker?
Maybe the score bug the size of the Titanic could be
If you want to watch a ticker, watch
smaller.
the Stocks channel. You got all the tickers there.
They got it rolling.
You got 10 tickers there.
They still have it rolling.
Watch 10 tickers there.
The news still has it rolling at the bottom.
If you want. Watch 10 tickers if you want.
So I saw that. That really bothers me. I don't know why. Does it mean I'm old? I don't think that means I'm old.
I think it means you're old.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Yeah, I mean, I just think when you look at the college football landscape, it's not something that I've ever concerned myself while watching games. I have never watched a game on TV and been like, I wish I could have an extra inch there. A little extra inch for if they could just do away with that ticker at the bottom. Boy, I would really get to see the full scope of this football game.
Once again, Chris, you don't understand that. Whenever you can get an extra inch of something, you always take it.
Oh, is that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, you always take it.
The large male.
Easy.
Once again, you don't see the forest through the trees. Once you can take an extra inch of anything, you always take it.
The QVC lady, she would probably agree with that, right?
I love to show the texture and this wave pattern. Again, it looks like you went and got a blowout at your salon. Oh my God. And it looks beautiful.
All right, so here's what's happening today. We're having.
All right, so that's the recovery as the QVC lady is showing off her hair for a blowout at a salon.
Yeah. And trust me, she wants the extra inch with the ticker, without the ticker.
Oh, I'm sure she would take the extra inch.
Yep.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So the SEC is following the Big Ten. We also get news that the ACC is also going to follow both conferences, and same with Notre Dame. So what's next? Are players going to sue to get back into college football? And we're looking at LSU. We'll talk about that coming up next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We've got news this afternoon that the ACC is talking about joining the ACC. The ACC is talking about joining the SEC and the Big Ten in not allowing players who have made an NFL roster, who have been drafted to the NFL, who are trying to become NFL players to come back to school. Notre Dame also is aligning themselves with the two conferences who have already said that they're not going to allow that to happen. So you have the Big Ten, the SEC. The ACC says that they are moving towards that there's momentum towards it, and Notre Dame at the moment. And that's the setup that we have in college football. And LSU is at the center of all this because LSU is the school that has a couple of these players who tried to make NFL rosters, who were on NFL rosters, who have been released or cut, or are now trying to get back to LSU to play college football in this upcoming season.
Yeah, and the SEC and Greg Sankey, their commissioner, also put out a list of essentially punishments that schools would face if they do allow these players back, which is weird too, because the schools all got together and voted on this, and all 16 of the SEC schools voted yes, which means LSU voted yes, and Lane Kiffin is still trying to do this. So the punishments would be that your coach, whatever sport it is, NFL, because the SEC went as far as to say NFL, NBA, and WNBA. So your coach would be suspended for 50% of the games. You would lose 50% of that sport's revenue for that year, and your school would not be able to vote on, school stuff, like whatever the commissions, whatever the conference's stuff is. So issues like this, your school would have to sit out that vote. Whatever issues come up throughout the year, your school would not be allowed to vote and have your school represented in those votes. But LSU voted yes to this. So now this is probably not over. This is going to go to courts. This is because, the conference said this, but a judge legally said that these players have every right to go back and get their fifth year and go back and play for whatever school they want to, and it just happens to be LSU.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that also comes back to how much of this was Lane Kiffin working behind the scenes trying to convince former players who played for him at Ole Miss to, hey, if you don't think you're going to make this NFL roster, let's why don't you cut out early? Why don't you come back to join me at LSU? And clearly, with Lane Kiffin, this is up there with some of the most pressure that he's going to face as a coach. Obviously, being the head coach of the Raiders, there's a lot of pressure there. NFL job, right? He was young. Wasn't Kiffin, when he was hired by the Raiders, the youngest head coach to get a job in NFL history at the time?
So.
Before McVay took the job with the Rams? Because he was super young when he got that gig. The time he spent at USC, that was a pressurized situation coming off of the Lane Kiffin years. They were expecting championships. It was a train wreck, and they had to fire him on the tarmac. They left him on the tarmac.
They didn't have to fire him on the tarmac.
Well, Pat Hayden fired him on the tarmac.
They chose to fire him on the tarmac.
So I mean, that took place. Tennessee, the uproar and the people that were upset that Lane Kiffin at Rocky Top was deciding to leave, to abandon them. Like, that was a pressurized situation. LSU is in the combo of the best in college football. It just is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about the best schools in college football traditionally, you're looking at Ohio State, you're looking at Alabama. LSU's in the conversation always. Georgia, as of late, has been in the conversation. And there's a bunch of other schools. So don't come at me on the text line saying 310-840-4910. Bleck, you forgot us. I'm not forgetting anyone. I'm just saying, like, LSU has won national titles, and they are always at the very top. They just always are. That's just what LSU is. And it's the way of life. It's the people of Louisiana, the talent that's down there, and everyone buying into supporting that program at that school. So it's just different, right? Like, Bleck and Abdalla, we broadcast from Chicago. Chicago is a pro team market. There is not a major college team that people follow here. There's a bunch of different melting pot situations for Big Ten fans, right? A lot of people go to Big Ten schools, and then they move to the city of Chicago. So you see all of that here in the city, but it's not like a college town like Baton Rouge with the Tigers. That's a different thing, right? Saturday nights in Death Valley, that's different at LSU.
Yeah.
And so Lane Kiffin is now entering a spot where the pressure is on. He has to win, and he has to win multiple championships for the money that they're paying him, for just the way they operate. Other head coaches have won championships at LSU, and then they get fired. One of them's on his staff. They just finished paying Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
And he's back getting paid under Kiffin's staff. So it is definitely a pressurized situation. So I could see why Kiffin would look into every angle possible, because he knows he's got to win. He's not going to get a runway to build this program up for 5-6 years like he did at Ole Miss.
No, because everybody has more pressure on them because of Indiana winning and Kurt Signetti coming in and turning that program around in 2 years. He came in 2 years. Indiana, the long-standing joke of college football, won a national championship in 2 years. So LSU, no runway. Alabama with Kalen DeBoer, no runway. Oregon with Dan Lanning. Like, you got it. Like, all these coaches, and they're expanding the playoff to say, oh, well, we made the playoff. They're going to expand it even more so all these coaches can get automatic bids and just say, well, we made it. Don't fire us. Okay, well, now if you don't make it, your ass is definitely getting fired.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we've given you every opportunity to make it, so you can't complain now. So the runway is even shorter for these coaches. And I'm not surprised that Lane, or I'm actually more surprised that other coaches haven't tried to pluck more recent, not graduates, but recent guys that have left the school to that are on the cusp of maybe making the team, maybe not making the team to try to get the fifth year until the loophole's closed.
Well, why don't we do it this way? If that's what people want to do, which I think any logical person would see that it's stupid. If you're trying to get into the NFL, you're on a roster, you're done in college. I think the fifth year is generous. I think what we've seen since COVID is ridiculous. Some of these kids, they're 27 and they're playing college football. Move on with your life. What are we doing? Move on. So why, if you want to do it that way, if that's what it's about, then why don't college teams call up quarterbacks when they're done playing to come play? Like, why not? If you need a quarterback, hell, call up Aaron Rodgers next year. When you're done playing for the Steelers, you want to come back to school? You want to be a quarterback? QB1 at Cal for a year? We'll pay you an NIL.
Because
think about the NIL deal you could get if you're a quarterback who played in the NFL for an extended period of time.
These guys haven't, some of them didn't actually even play in a preseason game, though. Like, that's the point of this, is some of these guys didn't actually play.
But isn't that the next step?
Yeah, of course
you get
it
a guy
is.
who like plays 4 or 5 years in the NFL, and then they say, you know what, I'll go back to school because it's easier.
No, that's not. I don't think that's the
I want
next
less
step.
competition. I want less for myself. So let's just make it easy.
I think that this was going to happen because you have guys that have 5 years of eligibility. They're not good enough to cut it in the NFL. They're not good enough to leave after the 3 years and go as a junior into the NFL and get drafted in the first through 7 rounds of the NFL draft. Because if you were, you wouldn't leave because you get decent money if it's like the 1st through 4th round or 5th round, right? You get decent money. So, and you're pretty much guaranteed a roster spot because teams invest that kind of draft capital in you. So if you're not one of those guys, then you have a chance to go back to school. And until they close the loophole and until there's a full conference-wide, whether it's all-encompassing, every single conference and independent has the same rules and same punishments, everyone is going to try to get around the system. And this ain't over. Guys are going to try to go to court, and guys will go to court. Guys are going to sue the schools. Guys are going to sue the conferences. And I wouldn't be surprised if you do see these players on the field week 1, week 2, until this is all figured out, even though there are rules in place put down by the SEC today that say that Lane Kiffin could get suspended for half the season and they could lose, that school, LSU could lose half of their revenue for the year.
Pete Thamel was on ESPN television this morning talking about this story. He says this is not over yet.
Right now, LSU has 3 such players that were involved in a local state court ruling, which the lawyers will tell you should technically still make them eligible to play. State law obviously trumps conference law. That's Daquan Wright. You mentioned Xavier Harris, a very good defensive tackle. He had 10 tackles against Georgia last year in the college football playoff for Ole Miss. And then a Notre Dame edge rusher, junior Tui Halemaka, who actually did not ever sign a pro contract, so his situation may be a little different. It's my understanding, Greeny, all 3 of these players are in Baton Rouge, and they are expected to push through the legal process to play.
So there's Pete Thamel on ESPN television earlier today. So that's one side of it. Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire talked about the latest with the Big Ten and the SEC banning players and what's next.
You know what's coming next. Those players are going to sue the conference, and so what do you do? And I know that, I was checking with our guys today of like, what's the Big 12 going to do, and so, again, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we're going to monitor. We've been monitoring the last week or so to how we can add, if possible, somebody to make this team better. I understand both sides. We are not looking at anybody that is in the NFL that possibly could be cut. We haven't called any NFL coaches. We haven't scouted any NFL players that I think some teams have done. But we're definitely going to look. I love my job, and I hope y'all love me being here because I love West Texas. And so I know this, I get to keep my job if I win. And so I'm going to constantly look to how we can be better as a team and be better roster-wise. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But I do think it's going to be.
So there you go. There is Joey McGuire on the situation in college football. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports.
And he's not wrong. It's his job to win. And if those players give you a better chance to win, and right now, Still waiting on the Big 12 to make a statement.
Well, they said they've got momentum.
Okay.
Momentum. That's important.
They're also
they've got momentum.
They're
Abdalla.
also the school that tried to bring Sorsby back
They've got momentum.
How many weeks did we have to deal with Sorsby news and
Sorsby
updates?
Watch. The Sorsby Watch.
Daily updates with Sorsby and them trying to bring him back before they finally were like, this is probably something we don't want to deal with.
Remember, we had the meeting of the roundtable at Texas Tech.
Long before.
Yeah, what the
Knights?
Before.
He sounds like something that's going to be like the Knights of the Round Table.
Yes, yeah, doesn't he? The president of Texas Tech.
Long before.
And he was talking about the legal
He
gambling
definitely sounds like someone that's going to try to pull a sword from a stone.
Gambling apparatus in their pocket.
Yeah, I mean, without seeing his face, doesn't he look like a
sword pulling guy
in their pocket?
But like he's the older guy that's in the corner that has
telling the story.
Yeah, he's telling the story of the young guy.
We need to consult our elder.
Legal gambling apparatus in their pocket.
Yes,
long before.
So yeah, I mean that was a fun story over the summer with Texas Tech.
See, if if they're willing to do that, if they're willing to bring in a guy who was gambling against his own teammates and playing unders of his own teammates, you don't think Texas Tech is going to bring in dudes that have stepped foot on an NFL field and inked NFL contracts as a way to win games?
It's possible. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can always text or call the show, 310-840-4910. Text from the 630. We were discussing the ticker. Front Office Sports has a story that ESPN is doing away with with the ticker at the bottom of every college football game this year. So every channel, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN News, the SEC Network, the ACC Network, ESPNU, ABC, there will be no ticker on your games. I think it's crazy. It's ridiculous. I don't mind seeing scores on the games that I'm watching. There's no problem there. It's not taking anything away from what I'm watching. So this is a text from the 630. Let's see. Knowing other scores was great when watching a game, especially if it's when your team's fighting for a playoff spot. You could track the playoff race in real time. That's Lewis from the 630. Okay, so that supports Bleck there. I'll put that in the column.
I mean, I think if Lewis and Lyle's on your side, you're on the
wrong
side.
Oh, just wait. More texts at 310-840-4910 from
these are all texts too.
The 925 says, here's the text. I happen to love the ticker. If I look it up on my phone, I will just get distracted and I end up not watching all the sports I intend to. Thank you.
Sounds like an ADD problem.
That's exactly my point. The moment you pick up the phone, you're like stuck to the phone.
That sounds like an ADD problem.
Another
text
text
doctor.
from the 224. I love the ticker. Allows me not to have to search for scores. Thank you. You don't have to search for the scores.
If you guys want to live in the late 90s,
shout out to these great texters today.
Go right ahead.
Amazing texters. Here's another one from the 208. Chris is absolutely right about the ticker. I love it. I look at my phone enough, and the ticker was right there. Thank you.
If you guys want scores from 20 minutes ago, go right ahead with the ticker.
Thank you. The all-time text today. This is a good text day here on the Bleck and Abdalla show. I mean, my God. Great text.
And why are you giving them the bell?
It's celebrating.
No, that's not
celebration.
How we use the bell.
These are my people. We're celebrating. We're celebrating. One more text at the 541 texting the show. The text reads, hey, guys, you do a great job with sports and your back and forth banter. All right. I love that. How about that? Sports and the back and forth banter.
Put that on a shirt.
Big question. Why does Abdalla take any and every chance to hate on the 49ers? What does this stem from? Go Ducks from the 541.
Go Ducks.
Oregon.
No, I get that.
Why do you hate the 49ers? Answer the texter's question.
I don't hate the 49ers.
We've got good back and forth banter. Answer the question.
I don't hate the 49ers.
Sounds like you do.
Kyle Shanahan's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. I don't know what you're talking about. I just don't understand why they keep signing old and aged players. That's on the 49ers. They've got a great coach. Give him healthy players, and maybe they'll win something. Take it up with your team and your GM.
Okay. Don't go after the texter.
He's
supporting the show. He said it's a nice show.
I'm not.
We talk
I'm saying
sports.
take it up.
We talk sports and we have good back and forth
I'm
banter.
saying take it up with your team. Why they keep giving a coach that is constantly in the top 2 or 3 of head coach rankings every single year, why they keep giving him old, aged, and hurt players. Give him better players. And maybe you'll actually win something before your window breaks and is slammed shut and your rickety house falls off of its foundation.
See, you didn't have to go that far. That's just not right, man.
It's the truth.
He said that we have a nice show and we have good back and forth banter. Who else has good back and forth banter like the Bleck Abdalla show? Come on, that's a great texter.
I don't know.
Don't yell at him for your
not yelling at
anti-49er
him.
thoughts. Another text, 630, #team ticker. It alerts me to a channel when I need to change for a better game. Thank you. I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I like to know. That's great.
Okay.
That's fantastic. All right, final text from the 843. How about this? A youngster joining the show in the program.
All right.
I'm 14 and I love it because I can see the baseball scores in real time. The ticker is great. That's a young person agreeing with me, and you're calling me a grandpa.
You are a grandpa.
No, that's a smart sports fan. That's a smart sports fan right there.
You are a grandpa.
No, that texter says they're 14. They love the show.
You are a grandpa.
They love the baseball scores.
No one needs a ticker.
You can always text the show at 310.
Y'all will be fine without it.
310-840-4910. Please let Abdalla know he's wrong about the ticker on the bottom of your sports. It doesn't bother anyone. To take such a hardline stance that you don't need it is wild.
And it won't bother you when it's gone.
No, I think it's great. I think it will be missed. I think it will certainly be missed. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We have the summer of football coming up next. Who will be the number 1 pick in next year's NFL draft? We'll tell you that coming up next. Football is back and something big is coming on September 2nd. DraftKings game day arrives.
Your DraftKings customers sign up with code BNA26 and spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That includes all markets.
That's code BNA26 for Bleck and Abdalla 26. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Connecticut. Call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involve risk of loss. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Bet to get bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Trade to get predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. $50 in rewards issued every 7 days via click to claim for 21 days. One non-withdrawable reward redeemable. Terms at dkng.co/offer. Limited time offer. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability. Varies by state.
Who is under the most pressure this season? Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson are searching for their first rings, while Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield are looking for new deals. Will pressure make diamonds or cause these QBs to crack? Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, having a great time on a Wednesday afternoon, hanging out with you here on Westwood One Sports until 3 Eastern, and then Jim Rome will take over right here on Westwood One Sports. You can also listen to the show on SiriusXM and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla right here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Throughout this summer, we have continued to count down the days until the start of the NFL season. We are so close. We have quarterbacks getting named for teams in training camp. We have teams getting ready for their final preseason matchups this weekend. College football week 0 is here this weekend. So you can taste it. You can smell it. Football is in the air, and it is back as we continue on with the summer of football.
I proclaim this the summer of football! What the hell's going on out here? We're going to be here all day, baby! I like this kind of party.
Only Brett Favre could do that. I don't care what you say.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
We need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots.
The Summer of Football with Bleck and Abdalla.
I throw, you catch. It's not that hard, okay?
Westwood One Sports, your home for Super Bowl 61 in Los Angeles. And every big game throughout the NFL season you can listen to right here on Westwood One Sports, including the opener, Seattle hosting New England. Listen to it here on Westwood One Sports. Abdalla, we are 14 days away from the start of the NFL season.
2 weeks. 2 short weeks matriculating our way through the summer. And it'll be sad when we're done matriculating.
Yeah, but guess what?
Bittersweet.
You know what will replace it is actual games that matter.
I know.
And before we get to that point, we'll have college football. We'll have a full college football weekend to break down as we get to the final days.
What other games are going on?
It's you can look at the ticker
I
on the other networks.
No, I can't.
Yeah, the other networks.
I can't.
Hopefully Fox sticks with it.
I hope they don't.
I hope the ticker stays. Okay, so with that said, why not? Is there a better time? Well, I wanted to say this too. Speaking of 14 days away from the start of the season,
yes,
I was taking a look at some early week 1 lines earlier today.
I made my first.
I was taking a look at some lines. I was taking a look.
I made my first bet like a month ago.
You okay?
Yeah. I made my first
thinking
bet.
about your first bet choked you up.
I made my first bet like a month ago.
Can I get this out here 14 days in advance?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like Patriots in the points.
Wow.
I kind of like Patriots in the points.
Let me see if my first bet is still up there.
I think Patriots in the points.
Yep, still up there if you want it.
On the road against Seattle. I kind of like that opening night.
It's very Homer. Very Homer. Very Homer. I think the Bears put it on Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous number, 2.5.
I think the Bears put it on Carolina.
Okay. All right. So we're 14 days away. So today our focus here on the Summer of Football. Why not? 14 days away from the start of the season. Let's look forward to the 2027 NFL Draft.
Oof.
ESPN has a mock draft up for the draft next season. Jordan Reed, he does a great job on ESPN.com. He has it's the first substantial mock that I've seen for next offseason. The draft will take place in D.C. Can't wait to be there to report and cover and host the show from D.C. in the NFL draft. We were in Pittsburgh this last year. It was a great experience. We had so much fun. We talked to all the players who were selected in the first round. You can find those conversations on our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. So this is what Jordan Reed has on ESPN.com today. The number 1 pick goes to Cleveland via a trade. Miami was the team that he put in as the team that has the worst record, but Cleveland moves up. Now, remember, Cleveland has 2 first-round picks going into next year. So he has Cleveland with the number 1 pick, and the Cleveland Browns would select quarterback from Oregon.
Wow.
Dante Moore.
Wow.
And the reason I pause like that is because this is supposed to be the year of Arch Manning.
It is. Okay, so there's a lot going on with this, right? 1, Arch Manning is not your number 1 pick. 2, the Miami Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL, and they stick with Malik Willis.
Ugh.
Why, you ask? Because he is due $26 million in 2027 and $27 million in 2028. That is the contract that he signed with the Miami Dolphins. It would, if they cut him next year, it is a $40 million dead cap hit for 2027. They cannot cut him. They are stuck with him. So what Jordan Reed says in this mock draft is they are going to trade with Cleveland and they're going to move down. They'll matriculate down into the draft. And what we've been talking...
matriculating.
No, we're doing a lot of matriculating. And just because I love that word. And what we've talked about with Cleveland is their quarterback for the future is not on the roster right now.
Correct.
And they have 2 picks in the first round. They use those 2 picks. They move up to the number 1 pick, which probably cost them a ton of picks. I can't even imagine how much this cost them to move from what he has, Miami at number 4.
Let's see. Jordan Reed also adds a 4th rounder, a 2nd rounder in 28.
Yeah.
So a bunch, like 4 picks and 2 first rounders. Yeah.
To move from number 4 to number 1, where they take Dante Moore, the quarterback out of Oregon. And then Miami has sucked for a duck, but that duck goes to the Cleveland Browns.
Whoa, easy. Easy on the old
sucking for a duck.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Well, I was going to say something else.
All right.
I probably shouldn't.
With the number 2 pick.
I'm sure you could imagine what I was going to say. The S of the number 2. Arizona gets the 2nd pick overall. Arch Manning goes to the Cardinals, quarterback from Texas.
Yeah, and what he says here, even though Carson Beck, Arizona's 3rd-round pick in April, has looked good this preseason, his presence wouldn't prevent the Cardinals from looking at a QB here, especially with veteran Jacoby Brissett's contract expiring after the season. He got more money, which he wanted, but he didn't get any more years.
Yep.
So he's a free agent. He's going to leave. And obviously, if you are picking number 2 overall, you have a bad season. So Arch Manning makes a lot of sense because Carson Beck, we know what his ceiling probably is, and you're not going to pass on a guy like Arch Manning if he's there. So I'm not surprised by this pick at all.
Okay, so this is from ESPN, from Jordan Reed. Here's how I will sum up the rest of the first round that you went through for this mock, because let's be honest. It's August 26th of 2026, right? Like, none of this really matters. Here's the only interesting angle I will give you. Number 3, it's the New York Jets, and they're taking quarterback C.J. Carr from Notre Dame. Number 4 and number 5 are both wide receivers. Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State goes to Miami. Wide receiver goes to Miami. And the Raiders are picking 5th. Cam Coleman from Texas goes to the Raiders.
Yeah.
There are no other quarterbacks that get selected in the first round.
Wow.
So, we've talked a lot here in the offseason about the depth of quarterback at the position for this upcoming college football season. A lot of different names kind of mentioned. Julian Sayin has been mentioned. Mensa with Miami has been mentioned. Lenore Sellers has been mentioned. Jaden Maeva at USC mentioned. Trinidad Chambliss, Sam Levitt. There's a lot of high profile college quarterbacks. Mestamaker at Oklahoma State. There's a lot of big name quarterbacks. Sorsby. Sure.
I'm just saying.
I would say the key here is from the Jordan Reed early mock draft today.
Yeah.
There's 3, and they all go at the top 1, 2, 3, and that's Dante Moore 1, Arch Manning 2, C.J. Carr 3, and then there's no other quarterback in the first round. Do I believe that will happen when we get to May? No, I don't believe that. I didn't think Ty Simpson was a first-round quarterback, and he got drafted 13th. So that's the only thing. I don't think we need to go through the rest of this exercise on the mock draft, but that's my takeaway, is that those are the 3 quarterbacks. And the only other thing I would say is the 2 teams at the bottom, he has Buffalo picking 31st, and he has the Rams picking 32nd.
Okay.
So take that for what it's worth. Maybe that's how he sees the 2 Super Bowl teams, Buffalo and the Rams.
If the Jets are picking 3rd and they take C.J. Carr, that means they're the 3rd worst team in the NFL. That means Aaron Glenn is on the hot seat. It probably means Aaron Glenn is getting fired.
I see what you're doing here. I like it.
It probably means that Aaron Glenn's getting fired.
I know. I don't think people realize how long you and I have worked together. I know exactly what you're going to say. Do you want me to say what you're going to say?
I think.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
I think Marcus Freeman,
Jets head coach,
is selecting his quarterback, C.J. Carr, to be the quarterback of his team, the New York Jets.
All right, South Bend, ring us up, 310-840-4910. Could your head coach leave for the Jets job and take C.J. Carr?
It's a prestigious franchise. Yeah, it is. The Giants isn't going to be open. The Steelers aren't going to be open. The Ravens aren't going to be open.
They give you a guarantee once. Yeah, you're right.
The Jets are a franchise.
They're a
It's
big-time
big
franchise.
Market.
Yeah.
He's not leaving for the Dolphins or the Cardinals or he's not leaving for the Titans. He's leaving for a job. The Jets are a job, man. If you can bring the Jets to the playoffs, that's a job. If he can select his own quarterback, if they fire Aaron Glenn, they're calling him. Especially if he's got a quarterback that's worthy of a top 3 pick and he can make that pick. Come on. How many times have we heard Ryan Day can leave and select his own quarterback? How many times have we heard this before? John Harbaugh can select his own quarterback. John Harbaugh could have picked J.J. McCarthy if he wanted to.
No, I agree. And I could see what you were thinking. And we've worked together for 20 years. I knew exactly the road that you were going down. I can't argue that. Marcus Freeman one day should coach in the NFL.
But he should have done it this year.
He's that good. He's that good.
He should have done it this year.
So there you go. There's the way too early mock draft for next spring. Arch Manning's not number 1. We'll see.
Man.
I'd be very surprised by that.
I
that's
mean,
the case.
Listen,
14 days out to the NFL start.
It's definitely going to be a conversation. You're definitely going to get experts. There already are experts on various networks that are starting to say, hey, he might not be it. He's not the guy. I like Dante more. There's already positioning going on. And there will be, guys that fit different systems better, Do
you want some Schefter information? I wouldn't say it's not necessarily breaking news, but it's football information. So I'll give you a little football music. Yes, because Bleck Abdalla here on the Bleck Abdalla show. We love the NFL. We love football. So, of course,
And I
absolutely.
love the NFL.
Thank you, Bart Scott.
And I love the NFL.
All right, from Adam Schefter on Twitter moments ago. Sources, the NFL will provide clarity to clubs later today regarding league rules governing player eligibility that have been in place and remain unaltered. A player that goes back to college this season will be prohibited from signing with an NFL team this year. A player signed to an NFL contract who is, who's cut, who is then a free agent, he may sign with another NFL club, the CFL, or return to college, but the player is considered a free agent and will not be subject to a future draft. Okay, so the NFL is already saying, and the source is telling Schefter, that they're not changing their rules, but this is what the ruling would say, is that if you are an NFL player who has signed a contract and you are released, you are a free agent, but you are not eligible to go back to the draft.
So these guys that signed with the teams, so there's one player that hasn't actually signed.
Yeah.
Of these players that went and joined rosters and were participating in camp and then have decided to go back and try to get their 5th year and play with colleges. There's 2 out of the 3 that did. There's 1 that didn't. And so what this is saying is, you can play in college. We don't care. You can go to the CFL. We don't care. You can sign with another NFL team. We don't care. But
you can't get drafted.
You can't go in the 2027 NFL draft. You can go back to school, but you can't come back in the draft.
So the NFL essentially views, and as the Schefter sources comment says, is they just view these players as free agents.
Yeah.
So it's like you're being a free agent somewhere else.
You're a pro.
I mean, it really is a problem for college football. It's like that's fine information. The NFL is not going to change, but it's not really their problem. If a player can't make a roster, is released or is cut, and then they go somewhere else like college football, that's a college football situation.
Yeah. Yeah, the NFL is saying we view you as pros. Once you sign a deal with us, you're a pro. You can't come back in our quote amateur draft.
Yeah. 3-1, let's go. 310-840-4910. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Is there a quarterback in the NFL that was battling for the starting position for his team, QB number 1, who could be cut or released here in training camp? We'll tell you about that coming up next.
The Browns named Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback. Has there ever been a Week 1 starter less popular with his own fan base?
Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. And that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. So what does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer.
He complained about the fans, then immediately was named their QB. That's a new one, even for Cleveland.
You know, it is what it is. You know, sometimes, the tables turn.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Check out the pod of Bleck and Abdalla on Apple and on Spotify. And also make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe. The live stream's up there each and every day, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Thank you to Stu Kovacs and Roy Lee for producing today's show. Bleck and Abdalla. Raj sent us a message. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll update Raj, where Raj is at today. So we'll update that in just a second, Abdalla. Jim Rome's coming up in about 12 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. We've kept our eye on this situation. J.J. McCarthy battling for the number one spot for the Vikings. He loses that job to Kyler Murray, and he's been splitting reps with Carson Wentz for the backup role. Kevin Seifert, reporting for ESPN, covering the Vikings, moments ago said that J.J. McCarthy will take a rest day today from the final day of training camp for the Vikings, and that the preseason game this weekend, Kevin O'Connell said that the goal is for J.J. McCarthy to play on Friday night in the preseason finale in Denver. He's also anticipating Carson Wentz playing as well on Friday night. So when we look at this situation, splitting the reps with Carson Wentz, is it possible that the Vikings release or cut J.J. McCarthy before we get to the start of this season, where McCarthy goes from battling for the number one spot to, Carson Wentz could be our backup. Why do we need J.J. McCarthy? Is that possible?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because he's still valuable to the franchise. He's still a pick that you can still get value for on the trade market. Someone could still see. We just went through a mock draft for this upcoming draft that only has 3 quarterbacks going in it. What are the Steelers going to do next season? Are they going to be able to develop Drew Aller or Will Howard into a starting quarterback for next season? What are the Bucs going to do if they can't work something out with, with Baker Mayfield? What are the Falcons going to do with their quarterback situation if Penix doesn't work out or if Tua doesn't work out, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of spots.
So there's spots for J.J. McCarthy if he doesn't work out. Also, what if right now Kyler Murray gets hurt? I think this is just like we saw them bring in Kyler Murray, and we're like, oh, it's a quarterback competition, but really it's Kyler's job. We want to push J.J. McCarthy. I think this is a way to also push J.J. McCarthy to keep him in this quarterback, quote, battle. He's going to start. He's always going to be quarterback 2. And I don't think this is a way to push him off the roster. I think he's going to be on the roster regardless. They're not going to put him on waivers. They're not going to put him, release him or anything like that, because the team will pick him up instantly because there's still potential in him, because we've seen it happen how many times? All the quarterbacks I just named, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, all these guys their image has been rehabbed.
Yep.
They've found ways. It's still Baker Mayfield, all these guys. JJ's still young, and another coach could find something in him. You're not just going to let him go.
Here on the show, Bleck and Abdalla, Raj Sharon produces the show each and every day.
And the next question comes from the line of Raj Sharan with Westwood One. Please proceed.
Please proceed. He's always here. We also, everyone wants to beat the Raj. Yep.
Beat the Raj.
Raj was out today because he had jury duty. Jury duty for Raj. Stu Kovacs did a great job filling in. Shout out to Stu. We always love when Stu hangs out with the Bleck and Abdalla show. We have an update from Raj, right? Here's the update. Raj texted the show. Mistrial. Raj is free.
Oh, I'm glad that Raj escaped the case.
Mistrial.
I'm glad that Raj got off scot-free. I'm glad that Raj found a loophole that got him off. That got him
easy.
That got him out scot-free. I'm glad he's got good lawyers. I'm glad he's got good
Raj,
representation.
Mistrial. Raj will be back tomorrow here on the show. Stu, we appreciate you, my man. Thank you for helping us out today.
Thanks, Stu.
Oh, thanks
I don't
for
think
having
Raj
me.
would
It's
do
fun.
well in prison. So
What? I've never thought about that, but I agree. I think Raj would agree with that.
hey guys,
Raj is too nice.
I know.
Could you imagine?
Funny story.
Oh, my God. That's great. So Raj will be back tomorrow. I will say, as we were joking about it, you mentioned to me the Pauly Shore film Jury Duty from 1995.
Because Raj was in Jury Duty.
And I've got to say this. I don't remember this from the 90s.
Uh-huh.
Hand up. That's my fault.
So everybody goes to Biodome.
Yeah.
Or what's the one where he's the caveman is in it?
Yeah.
What's his face?
Yeah.
Brendan
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser's
Yes.
in. Yeah. There's that one.
So
Son-in-law.
I looked up the description of Jury Duty on IMDb. I've never seen or heard this movie before, but wow, what a description!
Yeah.
Here's what they say on Jury Duty for Pauly Shore from 1995. Jobless loser Tommy Collins is sequestered to be a juror in a serial killer trial. He does everything he can to prolong the trial and deliberations to take full advantage of the free lodging and food.
Yeah.
That to me is like the best description of a movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
What an idea.
Yeah.
That is a great idea for a film.
Pauly Shore movie marathon, the one with the caveman and Encino Man. You should watch Son-in-Law, Biodome, In the Army Now, and then Jury Duty.
Stanley Tucci's in this?
The Tucci is in it, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm being dead serious. That is the best idea for a movie I think I've ever seen.
I'm telling you.
What a great idea.
It's a fun movie. It's fun for the whole family.
How does it end?
I think he ends up finding out like the guy is actually not guilty, and he has to convince everyone like it's it's one of those.
There's a little heart at
I think
the end.
so. Yeah.
Oh,
And I think he gets.
nice.
I think he gets the girl too. Maybe.
Oh, all right. Jim Rome's next.
This is Westwood One Sports.